Hey, so I'm Jeff. I've been spending the last number of years learning a lot about myself finally, and mental health, trauma, how to cope with it healthier. I've had addiction troubles and I've learned how to overcome those things, and learning how to overcome those things and be healthier. So anyway, been gathering all this knowledge and learning all these things, and I thought, I've gained a lot of ground, I've learned a lot of stuff. Maybe I can give some of this back to the world. Maybe I've learned something that if I share it, and hell, even if one person gets something out of it, that's cool to try to give it back, right? So anyway, I've come up with a bunch of ideas of things I wanted to talk about while I'm out for my walks. And today, I decided I would talk about when you have that cruel inner voice. I got my notes pulled up, not being rude, looking away from you. The headline I came up with, I take a lot of notes. How to shut down the cruel and toxic inner voice with dialogue. So, I don't know about you, but the way I talk to myself in my head is probably more verbally abusive and toxic than I've ever let anybody talk to me in the real world. That's not to say I haven't suffered a lot of verbal abuse at the hands of a lot of different people from the time I was a kid, all the way up through adult life. I've been everybody's verbal punching bag, and it's been very damaging, to say the least. So anyway, I was in with my counselor last Saturday. I had a session with her, and she asked me point blank. She said, I hear you talking about struggling with all these relationships with other people. She said, what's your relationship like with yourself? She said, how do you feel about yourself? And I said, I feel horrible about myself. I feel pretty worthless. I feel like no matter how much I do, I'm not doing enough. I verbally abuse myself. That little voice in my head is always talking down to me, and I just kind of let it. And so yeah, I don't really have a good opinion of myself. And she said, well, before you can fix any other relationships, you got to fix the relationship with yourself first. Because how are you gonna have any energy left over to give to anybody else if you're burning all this energy hating yourself, right? It's like, yeah, okay, I kind of knew that, but I never really thought about that inner voice being so integral in how that happens. So how do I change the inner voice? Well, that sounds really overwhelming, doesn't it? Because that inner voice has been in my head from the jump, and for better or for worse, it's always been there, and that's just the way I've lived and survived. So as we talked about it, I thought, well, what if I treated the inner monologue, what if I treated it like it was another person? Because I wouldn't let another person anymore. I wouldn't let another person talk to me the way that I talk to myself. And so if I wouldn't let somebody else talk to me that way, why would I talk to myself that way? Okay, so what if I view the inner voice as a separate person? So if the inner voice starts being verbally abusive, I can talk to it like it's somebody else, rather than trying to change it like this part of me that's so integrated and so core. What if I just treat it like it's somebody else? Hey man, you don't get to talk to me like that, right? So we had a bit of a discussion, kind of made a plan of action for that. And I hope it doesn't sound crazy, because it's not like I'm multiple personality talking to other people, but what I did figure out, and I put it to the test a few times since last week, and I'm really proud of the results. Here's kind of how it went down. So over last weekend on the Sunday after my counseling session, God, isn't this pretty? Here, time out. I live like 5 minutes from this by car, or I can just walk over here from my house, whichever way I want to do it. Okay, so sorry, I digress. All right, so that weekend, like after my counseling session with her, I was at home and I did something stupid, like lost my keys or something. It's really inconsequential. And here comes the inner voice. You idiot. You're so stupid. Why can't you find your keys? Now you've wasted 5 minutes. You're an idiot. You're stupid. Why can't you figure this out? You're no good, blah, blah, blah. So the voice started in on its deal, the usual verbal abuse. Within a couple of minutes of that happening, I caught on to it because we had just been talking about it in counseling, right? So I caught on to it. God, this is pretty back in here. I catch on to my inner voice, and in my head, and even when I was down in the garage looking for my keys, I even kind of talked out loud to myself, kind of like I'm doing right now. And so the voice is like, you're an idiot. You can't find your keys. You're so stupid. And I go, whoa. I said, hey, you don't get to talk to me like that. This is not a big deal. I'll find my keys. You take your verbal abuse down the road, because I'm not living like that anymore, and you're not going to talk to me that way. Whatever purpose you served me over my life as my inner voice, we survived horrible together, and you've been with me as a constant companion the entire time. But I said, your time is done, and you are not talking to me that way anymore. So get out. And I shut it down. Like, it worked. It actually worked. I was kind of shocked. And anyway, once I shut that voice down, stress level came back down, self-confidence came back up. It just like, it gave me a little bit of inner peace. And I walked around and I found my keys and went on with my life. Big deal. And later on in the week at work, here's example number 2. I was hooking my trailers. I pulled doubles from one city to another for a big LTL. Anyway, I was hooking my trailers and I forgot something. I missed a step, and it made me have to go back and do something different. And again, here came that voice. You idiot. Now look what you've done. Now you've cost yourself 5 more minutes. A lot of these things are like just little 5-minute inconveniences when that voice hits you, right? Do you notice that too? And just not a big deal. But the voice started getting verbally abusive with me again. And as I was walking back to check my hook and make sure I had everything right, and I was listening to it, just within I don't know, 30 seconds or a minute, that started again in my head, because I'm out in public and there's other guys around hooking their stuff. I didn't want to look like a weirdo. But I said, hey, no, you're not talking to me that way. Don't you talk to me that way. I didn't do anything to deserve this kind of verbal abuse, so take it somewhere else. And by God, it did. It diminished and went away. Yes. I mean, I'm 47 years old. How did I not figure this out yet? For whatever reason, I didn't. And here I am. But learning to control that inner monologue and not let it be abusive to me. I mean, this last week has been revelatory. Like, I've had such a better week. Not gonna lie, about the last maybe 2 months or so, I was really in, it's like a big depression. I was really struggling. You know, 1 to 10 on the crisis level, 10 being you know, I just want to quit my job and hide in my room. I was 9. I was 9 plus. I mean, I was really struggling with a lot of depression, and a lot of that is led by that inner voice. That inner voice will just it'll be verbally abusive, and that makes you feel bad, and then it just piles on and it makes you feel worse. You know what I mean? And So gaining control of that has really made me feel a lot better. Hi, bicyclist. So anyway, you can regulate what's going on, how you feel about yourself, by controlling that inner voice and keeping it from being verbally abusive. I would like for you to try doing what I did. Treat that inner voice not like it's you talking to yourself in your head, but treat it like it's somebody else talking to you. What would you do if somebody else came at you talking to you the way that you talk to yourself in your head? You wouldn't put up with that, right? So it doesn't feel like I'm making this wholesale change to my entire inner being. It feels like I can kind of tackle this inner voice issue a little bit at a time. So the voice starts piping up with verbal abuse, I shut it down like it's another person, or like, you know, like I'm talking to my kid trying to teach him how not to be a jerk. Hey, don't talk to me like that. I didn't deserve that. You know, I'm doing right here. Yeah, I made a mistake. Okay, big deal. Didn't hurt anybody. Cost myself 5 minutes. I keep saying 5 minutes because that's usually all it is. We'll get over it and move on. So chill out. But you don't get to talk to me that way. That's how I talk to this inner voice. And I've created an inner dialogue of peace and diffusing this verbally abusive inner monologue that it used to be. I now have power to control it. And if I can keep it squashed down and gone, oh my God, guys, this last week I've felt like a 500-pound weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. And I feel like I have a lot more control over, you know, what's going on. And I haven't had a depression episode all week, where, like I said, the last month and a half, 2 months, I was pretty down in the dumps, man. And it's been a big help. Learning this has been a big help. Treat that abusive inner voice like it is somebody else rather than like it is you. And don't let it talk to you that way, man. You don't deserve to be talked down to. You're all right. And yeah, so that's all I got for today. I hope that helps somebody. You know, God, life is hard, and we're all just running on survival tools that we learned as kids and have tweaked as adults. And we learned to put new tools in our emotional toolbox as we go. But a lot of the coping skills, the survival tools that you learned as a kid, were really unhealthy if you were in a dysfunctional situation. And now as an adult, they don't work very good, do they? So this is a good way to start making yourself feel healthier and feel better and have more peace, because that's what life's all about, man. Is finding peace. Going for a walk like this, oh my God, this is peace. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? This is something that's therapeutic. Controlling a verbally abusive inner voice is therapeutic. And as you bring that inner dialogue into a healthier place, you'll feel more confident, you'll feel more peaceful, and it will give you that confidence to go out and do more things that are healthier for you and get away from the things that are harmful and self-destructive to you. So let me see if I covered all my all my talking points that I wrote down here. Let's see. Talking point: your inner voice sets your thinking schedule all day long. And that's a good point. When you can control that inner voice and keep it from keep it from putting you, okay, well, it's 8 a.m. It's time to start ruminating about something that happened 25 years ago. Let's roll with that for a couple hours. You know what I mean? If you can control that inner voice, you can say, whoa, no, we're not talking about that. We're going to talk about the new motorcycle parts I just ordered, or we're going to talk about the time I get to hang out with my kids, you know, coming up, or something fun that happened in the past, rather than getting stuck in all those negative loops. The inner voice is hard to change, because it has been like, this is the voice in your head that you know, when you talk to yourself, that's your oldest friend. That friend has been with you, like I said earlier, from the jump, from the get-go. As soon as you had a conscious memory, that's the voice that's been there, and that voice has been what you've worked through your problems with, whether you did it healthy or otherwise. So it's scary to think about maybe letting that go and changing it, because, you know, what are you gonna do then? But it's a worthy investment, and I promise you the outcome is going to be healthy. Treat it as if it was another person. Okay, yeah, we talked about that. Makes it a lot easier. It's kind of like eating an elephant one bite at a time, right? You're not saying, okay, inner voice, I'm wholesale changing you. I'm saying, all right, you know, I'm gonna nip away at you and create a new habit, and then that new habit is gonna make you, inner voice, healthier. Talk to it like you're teaching a child how to communicate without cruelty or intolerance. So I think we talked about that. Yeah, we talked about that. You know, talk to your little voice like you're teaching it, like you're teaching your kid. Make it understand there are rules of conduct to how it may treat you. Okay, so that's another thing. So instead of saying things like, hey man, you can't talk to me like that, or I didn't do anything to deserve being treated like this, you need to back off. You could also say, oh, there's a frog. Nope, just jumped in the weeds. You could also say something like, hey man, you know, this is the new plan. You're not going to talk down to me, and we're going to do things in a constructive way. This little inner voice that I've got going on, him and I are going to be constructive, and we're going to be positive, or he can get the hell out and I'll start over from scratch. I don't know. Do you kind of know where I'm going with this though? It's you're retraining a part of you to behave in a positive way, and it's been a lifetime, you know, maybe a negative influence on you. So these are the new rules. This is how we're going to behave, and you're not going to be verbally abusive anymore. I hope you guys are having a great day, man. It's Sunday after the 4th of July here. Listened to my neighborhood go ham with the fireworks last night, and got up today and decided to go for a walk and try out a little walk and talk with you guys. So if you got any questions, you can leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll try to check into it and respond when I can. And I'm on Instagram a lot. I'll put an Instagram link on it. I hope you got something out of this. I'm hoping that maybe I share some of this stuff that I've learned over the years, and you know, about being more self-aware and trying to be more enlightened, you know, and you know, if I can share some of this stuff and it helps somebody, God, man, that's awesome. I don't have, you know, aspirations of making a YouTube channel and being rich, and I don't care about that. I got a lot of, I've learned so much, and I've been through so much, and I've learned how to overcome so much of it, and I'm not perfect. Far from it. Refer back to the part where I said I just had a huge depression for the last 2 months. But I'm really working hard. I read a lot, I research a lot, I go to counseling, I listen to counselors talk on YouTube all the time about different subjects, and it's a lot. I want to give some of it back. I hope you guys have a great day. Take care of yourself. Take care of your friends. I love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I should probably say that I have no formal education, no college degrees, no mental health counseling licenses, no insurance. I'm basically not qualified to talk about any of this stuff by legal measures. So this is for entertainment purposes only. Take it for what you want. I've learned a lot about life through just living it, and I get my wisdom from going through horrible things, and later on learning how to not go through horrible things anymore. So that's where all this comes from.